Hey, welcome to the 5Q interview. I'm Iktomi Bevins. This is my good friend Matt Everett, who is here with us on our, I think, number 6 5Q interview. And we're going to talk about Dampé, his band, and we're also going to talk about music and, the artistic expression of tune. Okay. All right. So my first question to you. What is your current creative inspiration? That doesn't have to be music. It could be a painting. It could be a hike. It could be anything that's just inspiring you to create right now.
Yeah, so I think instrumental piano music.
That's cool,
which
man.
it's an interesting place.
And you're self-taught on piano, right?
Mostly, I took some piano lessons starting from about age 7 to 13, and then at that point I mainly wanted to. I was working with a strictly classical teacher, who was pushing me more towards that, whereas 13-year-old Matt wanted to play the Beatles, and so I unfortunately abandoned the lessons for a few years, but now I've come back to it because I feel like it expresses a certain part of the musical experience that I've been missing for a few years.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I didn't realize you played or had lessons. For 6 years. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's pretty good on the keys. First, please describe the music that you're into / the music you make. My follow-up question to that, though, is what led you to your genre?
Sure.
I feel like every genre kind of picks its, people,
Yeah. So I live in Nashville. I'm a writer and producer working with different artists there, as well as being in my band Dampé. As writers, me and my bandmate Tyler kind of try to span every genre that we can. We try to write lots of pop music, we try to write lots of country music. We have trouble describing what the genre is because the genre is basically the collaboration of the two of us. It stems from lots of roots in punk and post-hardcore, but of course I listen to a bunch of classic R&B and 80s pop music, and Tyler he listens to more pop punk music, and so it creates a very sort of unique lyrically focused sound, because that's what both of us are really drawn to, is the impact of lyrics.
How much do you think goes into wordplay and lyrics versus just the melodies and the instrumental aspect to it?
Yeah.
And when you're crafting your music, how do you pay attention to those individual routes?
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's always the struggle of the songwriter. We try to throw as much as we can into the arrangement. Like our arrangements, they have lots of guitar lines, lots of keyboard lines, lots of drums. It tends to create a pretty hectic sound almost. But we always start with the lyrics and the melody to make sure that both of those pieces are there for every song before we move on to the arrangement. I want to try to push the boundaries of lyrics in pop music and rock music, but we also want to stay true to saying something that means something to both of us.
I think it's cool that you are thinking about that with Dampé, and also you're currently drawn to instrumentals.
Yeah, it's kind of designed towards the same goal, which is to invoke the emotion that you want to invoke in the listener.
Right.
And so, sometimes words get you there. For me recently, it's been through a lot of instrumental music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As an independent act, describe to me what you think about when it comes to promotion and marketing, and what are your thoughts on that? Because as an artist myself, I have to walk the line of turning off my followers too much because I'm talking too much about my career, the things I'm selling.
Yeah.
But really, it's not even the amount of selling. It's all free if you have a music app. It's just us wanting to, share our art.
Sure.
Talk to me about your promotion and marketing. When it comes to, because you guys have an upcoming album.
We do. Our debut EP, Hour of the Wolf.
Freshman EP, Hour of the Wolf.
Coming out May 7th. So be on the lookout.
May 7th. Well, this will definitely be out before May 7th.
Yeah.
So, Hour of the Wolf.
Check it out.
We're pretty good at what we do.
The hardest part for lots of creatives is figuring out how to to cultivate, especially in such an ever-changing industry where
Yeah.
you kind of have to anticipate the new way to reach people, even in an age where we're so connected through social media. People who are visiting your social media, they want to know your story. They want to know what's going on in your life, because people are drawn to personalities and art, not just the promotion of, hey, my record's out, go buy it, And so we're trying to like be ourselves as much as we can in our social media presence, just like we try to be ourselves as much as we can in our songwriting. Honestly, think that's what connects with people, is the uniqueness of a voice. So
Definitely. How many songs do you think you've crafted and have scrapped?
So I just recently undertook a project of organizing my hard drive with all the voice memos that I've had, which was a trippy, unnerving, uncomfortable experience. I had a folder of almost 1,100 ideas.
That's crazy.
And this is all in between like now and 2011, but they're all mixed together. So I was like listening through, and I would hear like an idea from like 2018, going back into an idea from 2012, going back to an idea from 2015.
Yeah.
And like, those are probably, maybe like sometimes they're just pieces of songs.
That's the beauty of creation though, and creating art, I think, is that it transcends time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same way you go to a museum to look at a piece of whatever, sculpture, painting, whatever, and it's from 300 years ago. You're there to see it because it's still here today. And that's what I think is cool about art, and for artists, if you're really thinking long terms, is you're thinking about longevity, you're thinking about your legacy.
Yeah.
So if that you aren't here tomorrow, what are you leaving behind?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the beauty in that, is that we at least get to rest knowing that when you release a project, if you're writing it correctly, you're leaving a lot of things out on the table, from the chest.
Yeah.
Letting it go.
So to answer your question, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's really a lot. I would say that there's, we always, as perfectionists, we always have the issue of like deciding when something is good enough. Like good enough to be done with, good enough to record, good enough to release. So I would, I'd say I probably have like 30 or 40 songs still on the table that I want to record either for myself or for somebody else. Yeah, we've got this EP coming up.
Yeah, tell us about Hour of the Wolf.
Yeah, so Hour of the Wolf.
Title, cover art, inspiration, all of it.
So Hour of the Wolf is 5 songs, short, sweet, it's about 20-25 minutes of music. We said exactly what we needed to say, and they're kind of a culmination of the collaboration between the two of us, which is exactly what we would want to do with a debut project. It's have something that embodied like both of our creative work.
Totally.
Yeah, so we released our first single, which is a song called Pick Your Poison, and it's out everywhere.
Excellent.
At the moment.
What do you want me to say?
It's just a small piece of it.
That's my favorite part.
And so it's been out for a few months, kind of making the rounds around the internet.
Yeah. Pick Your Poison, Dampé.
It's a
with
fun,
an E with
fun
an
time.
accent.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Dude, yeah.
The songs all of them have been written over a period of about 3.5 years. It's definitely the most honest that I've ever been in my songwriting personally. Kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, how like, music can describe an emotion that you haven't been able to really put into words before. And so for me, at least, that's very therapeutic. Definitely tried to crank up the gain on the guitars, see how much we could get out of the arrangement. And the reason that I've been drawn to that genre is more so in the performance of being able to express something like so purely. I think there's something special about heavy music, and that it is very lyrically focused. It's also very focused in the musical arrangement. You've got this great rhythmic aspect, under just extremely honest lyrics delivered in a passionate way. It's just like, I have something I want to say. This is the best way to say it. I've talked a lot, but I want to let the music speak for itself as much as possible. So you try to keep an open mind if you wanna check out the EP.
Definitely.
Just give it a run through, see what you think. It's really us like laying ourselves out there.
You show the fact that we're all different, but we also feel and express and go through similar situations and emotions and everything. The human experience is very unique in that it's one. It's we all experience very similar things, but I think it's cool for us to hear our different perspectives on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent interview.
Yeah, thank you very
Really
much.
didn't have to do any redos, which was awesome. This is a 5Q interview. I'm Danny Bevins. This is Matt Everett of Dampé Music from Nashville, Tennessee.
At Dampé Music.
At Dampé Music. Check it out. And Hour of the Wolf debuts May 7th.
May 7th.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm really happy we got to do one of these.
Yeah, man, me too.
For the camera, for the people.
For the people.
Yeah, for the fans.